Alien Empire. New developments. Today's episode brought to you by the letter H. Hola! And by the number 7, 8, and 9. Check it out. Now, I can't disclose too much information because what I'm about to tell you is very, very crucial. And so please forgive me if it doesn't all make sense, homie. Now, we have reliable sources that Jake and not Rebecca went into a business on the tira 3 days in a row. The 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. Now, on the 7th, he donated a bunch of baby products, clothing, and some other apparatuses, all brand new, not even a scuff, homie, on the tira. On day 8, he asked if he can use the dumpster, which they said yes, because they knew him. He threw away what appeared to be 2 grocery-sized bags. What was in there, we don't know, homie. The 9th, he came back and he donated some, I don't want to say what he gave, but he gave something to the business which they since then sold off. All the clothes that he donated were sold off. All the apparatuses were sold off. And so there's little kids out there wearing Emmanuel's clothes, brand new clothes, that quite possibly were never even used, homie. Now, I'm sorry if this story doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to those who know, homie.
In a room built for lullabies and gentle beginnings, a single baby shoe rests in the quiet. Once, it held tiny feet, full of promise. Feet that might have danced in warm kitchens or chased sunlight in the yard. Now, dust gathers where laughter should have lived. In this fragile stillness, we meet Emmanuel, 7 months old, eyes wide with wonder, a heartbeat full of beginnings. A child meant to grow, to giggle, to be held close. But the cradle is empty, and the silence, it asks us to listen. This is where the story begins. Emmanuel Haro was just 7 months old. A small but shining presence. A quiet light of hope that filled the spaces around him. His family described him as curious, already smiling at the morning sun, cooing softly at the rustle of leaves outside the window. His mother recalled a moment, the day he shared his first laugh, a sweet sound, somewhere between a giggle and a squeal. Pure, simple joy. Emmanuel was a bright tomorrow, a future full of promise, now left untouched. Every unwritten lullaby, every step he never took. A life so tender, quietly erased before it could fully bloom. As Emmanuel's disappearance became a focal point of public concern, various reports began to surface, not only from official channels but also from community discussions on social media. According to some accounts shared in local forums and online groups, none of which have been confirmed by law enforcement, Jake Haro was seen selling baby clothes and infant supplies on August 9th, just days before Emmanuel was reported missing. While such an act could be seen as a practical decision, in this context, it raises difficult questions about the timeline and intent behind these actions. Adding to the complexity, some voices within these communities have alleged that Emmanuel faced health challenges or disabilities, suggesting that these factors might have influenced the circumstances leading to the sale of his belongings. It is crucial to emphasize that these claims have not been verified by medical professionals or investigators, and they remain part of the wider, unresolved dialogue around the case. This situation underscores the importance of careful, compassionate investigation grounded in facts, especially when the life of a vulnerable child is at the heart of a community's grief and search for answers. In 2018, Jake Haro was convicted of child cruelty involving his then 10-week-old daughter. According to reports from thesunpeople.com, the infant sustained serious injuries including skull fractures and a brain hemorrhage that resulted in permanent disability. Despite the gravity of these injuries, court records show that Haro received a sentence of work release and probation, with no prison time imposed. Prosecutors had recommended incarceration, yet he remained free following sentencing, as noted by The Sun and AP News. In 2023, Haro completed court-mandated counseling, and therapists described him as attentive and insightful, deeming him low risk for reoffending. But tragically, just months later, Emmanuel vanished. These facts raise profound questions about the justice system's response, its ability to protect vulnerable children, and the mechanisms in place to assess and manage risk. The records and counseling files tell a story not just of one man's actions, but of systemic choices, decisions that some argue may have contributed to this devastating loss. The public chapter of this case began on August 14, 2025. In Yucaipa, California, Rebecca Haro, Emmanuel's mother, reported that she had been attacked while changing her son's diaper outside a Big Five sporting goods parking lot. According to her account, someone greeted her with a simple "Hola" before she lost consciousness. When she awoke, Emmanuel was gone. In the hours that followed, local K-9 units, deputies, and search teams scoured the area. Officials made clear that foul play could not be ruled out as the investigation began. However, as the inquiry progressed, investigators discovered inconsistencies in Rebecca Haro's initial statements. When asked for clarification, she chose to end her interview. Authorities conducted a search of the Haro family home in nearby Cabazon, uncovering more questions than answers. By August 22nd, both Rebecca and her husband, Jake Haro, were arrested and charged with murder and filing a false police report. Prosecutors have stated that they believe Emmanuel had already suffered long-term abuse by the time of his disappearance. This case is not only a profound tragedy, it stands as a stark reminder of systemic failure. A man previously convicted of child cruelty was granted probation instead of prison time. In 2018, a judge's decision to show leniency allowed a dangerous individual to return to the community. Court-mandated counseling followed, but accountability appeared limited. Meanwhile, child protection systems missed critical warning signs, their interventions arriving too late to prevent harm. Prosecutor Michael Hestron described the earlier sentence as an outrageous error in judgment, highlighting the gravity of these failings. On September 4th, both Rebecca and Jake Haro entered pleas of not guilty to charges of murder and filing a false police report. Bail was set at $1 million each. In the courtroom, Rebecca appeared in muted attire, her eyes guarded and unreadable. Jake sat in an orange jumpsuit, his expression blank, hands folded before him. District Attorney's words echoed through the proceedings. "We failed this child." These images, stern faces behind defense tables, the weight of high bail, cold courtroom air, reveal just how distant justice remains from the cradle where Emmanuel should have slept. Investigators conducted an extensive search in a field near Freeway 60, accompanied by cadaver dogs and with Jake Haro present. Meanwhile, social media buzzed with speculation that Jake had led authorities to Emmanuel's grave. Yet, officials confirmed that no remains have been found. The digital echoes of rumor and hope intertwined, revealing how swiftly unverified narratives can spread amid grief and uncertainty. Emmanuel never had the chance to stand, to speak his first words, or to breathe in a single tomorrow. From a single sock abandoned on a dusty floor to the echo of empty courtrooms, his absence speaks louder than any scream. Justice must reckon, not only with this crime, but with the broken systems that allowed it to happen. Memory is our only justice now. Accountability must come not just for those in custody, but for the institutions that failed to protect a baby whose life never truly began. If Emmanuel's brief life moved you, if that quiet coup still echoes in your heart, you owe it to him to act like the video now, because each like lifts the weight of silence. After system failure discussion, if you feel anger at those failures, if you're shaken by what was allowed to happen, share this story now with a friend, a community, so Emmanuel's ending wasn't in vain. During courtroom visuals, if seeing those sterile walls and cold pleas hurts you, if you can't unsee that injustice, subscribe and stay with us. Emmanuel deserves more than oblivion. His story must be heard. After debunking social media rumors, if you've ever wondered how quickly false narratives take hold online, don't stay silent. Comment where you're watching from. Your voice can help guard truth for Emmanuel. Final close. Before ending reflection. If this story haunts you, let it push you not into passivity, but into purpose. Like, share, and speak Emmanuel's name aloud. Because remembering is an act of justice. We close not with resolution Emmanuel's remains remain unrecovered, but with a mission to insist that his short life, his stolen breath, be honored through memory, through change, through justice for every child who cannot ask for it themselves.